Welcome, everybody. Just want to do the pledge, Mr. Director.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are you standing for a moment of silence with the Yankees?
The only chance they had is the Mets made it.
Okay, Victoria, please roll call.
Albrecht. Banflo. Day.
Here.
Gurecki. Here. Torano.
Here.
Warnzak.
Here.
Bono.
Here.
Have a quorum.
Welcome, everyone, our guests, and I'll have John do the mission statement.
Yeah, go ahead. Thanks.
I'll read the mission statement today. The River Park County Industrial Development Agency delivers economic incentives to businesses and industry to diversify and strengthen River Park County's tax base and enhance community vitality by supporting job creation, business and industrial development, community revitalization. We strive to develop a local economy and organize sustainable and environmentally beneficial.
Thank you, James.
Okay, the minutes were sent to you around pages 1 through 3. They were for the September 24th, 2024 regular board meeting. In addition to these corrections. For discussion on those. Your motion. Your second, John Squano, today, second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Carried. Item number 5, the September financial reports 4 through 11 in the book. Yeah.
We're looking good as always. Have a couple other administrative fees coming in the next, this month, next month in December. We'll end up fine. All of our loans or grants, they've been paid, the loans have been on time. We don't have any delinquent. We only have 2 right now, but one of them should be paid off pretty soon, right? There,
Yes,
February.
February.
so, yeah, we're doing really well. We have to work better on seeing what we can do to get some projects developed in the LDC, but the IDA is moving along nicely.
Any questions for John on the financials? They're all very stable. All right, need a motion to accept the financial reports. Mike, second by Tim. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed, nay. Carried.
Just one last thing on that too. Victoria, is anybody in arrears for the pilot payments right now?
No, they've all been received for the school package.
How about our administration fees, where are we with that?
Everyone is paid that is due. Mhm.
Did we have an outstanding to receive from the HCCC Solar and the other one that's that?
Next year.
Thank you.
Which 6, the Michael Enterprise Grant update.
Jen?
Morning, everyone. As of right now, we have approved 3 applications. Just a little update on those. Our first disbursement has been approved, so we're just waiting for the funds to be released, which should be any day. And then we'll be able to get those first 2 checks out to those business owners. The second disbursement is in the works, so I anticipate that'll be going through very shortly also. As of right now, I am working on 3 applications that I received over the last 2-ish weeks to make sure that we get all of the needed documentation to go along with those applications. One is very close, so I anticipate having one ready for review hopefully at the next meeting. We just need one document. So we have gotten a lot of calls recently about interest in the grant. What I've been seeing is that there's a hesitancy to spend the money up front from a couple of the business owners that have called me. So I'm trying to work with them to make it as easy as possible so we can all of this money we have.
So you have a call with them regular basis?
Yep, every other Thursday I have a call with them. So Lindsay, who's our project manager from Homes and Community Renewal, she helps me with any questions that I have over the phone. It's a lot quicker that way. And she also will pull up documents, or I'll share my screen and show her things, and she'll help me through applications so that they, run a lot smoother, which is really, really helpful.
We've been trying to let everybody know that we're here to help them fill out those applications, so they shouldn't be scared. When you do see it though, as a small business, you don't have a lot of time. So we've noticed some that take the application that you don't hear from a while because it's their busy time. And then they'll do it, but we still have money available, and we're in it for ag businesses too, farmers, different, I mean, we can really look at a lot of different things. But it hasn't taken off like our first, right, Victoria, for some reason?
I don't know why, but it doesn't seem to have the option.
I don't know, we advertise it. It's happening, and Herkimer advertises it, the Small Business Development Center advertises it, everybody does.
Yeah.
We get it out there once, every so often, we put it on social media too. So if you know of anybody interested in just talking, have them call me.
Question, is the challenge with spending the money in advance because of affordability or something else?
I think affordability has something to do with it. So, most applicants that have come to me so far are of low to moderate income themselves. So to spend, the maximum is 14,000. So to be able to spend that upfront and then wait for the reimbursement makes it a little different.
So doesn't the EDD have a product that bridges the gap between project initiation, needing to spend the money, and receiving the grant?
They have like a Morco loan type program, but the interest is pretty high on that, and it still has to go through the process. So what we found over time, they're able to come back and real purchase it, the things from us. It's just how did they get to that point and how they can do it. They know they need it, they have to do it. So now we just have to work with them and get them that turnaround for them quick too, because you can't approve it till they spend it. So. But yeah, that gap is not, and I don't know if that's available for everyone. We don't work with them as much. They usually come to us when they have some type of grant. We can send them over there. That's no problem.
It just might be worth looking into.
But
I have not utilized it, but.
yeah, their interest rate, does anybody remember what that is? I think I think I remember like 8 or something. So that's not too bad today. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely let them know about that too.
If you send me a PDF or something, we can get it on newsletter.
Certainly, yeah, I'll send it right after the meeting. Thanks, Garrett.
How quick after they spend their money do you reimburse them?
So the first disbursement took a little bit longer because it's the first one that they have to set up in the system, and that one, they said 5 to 6-ish weeks. The second one should be closer to 4 to 5 weeks. And that's because they have to set up the businesses in their system, and then it has to go to fiscal review, and then they release the funds, and that takes place.
Once we get to that point, though, they've reviewed everything in the state, so we know they're gonna get the money. So that's a positive, because we don't submit all of that.
Exactly. So they're just checking to make sure that they have everything that they need. Really not too bad in terms of disbursement time. We've seen other ones take a lot longer.
Great. Any questions for Jen? Thanks, Jen.
You're welcome.
Okay, let's go to 7, 6-year budget, pages 12 through 13.
Victoria too, this is a item that we have to do for our reporting, our parish reporting. It's truly estimates when you get out that far. No one knows who's gonna win the election, no one knows what it'll be like in 4 years. So we just take some numbers, we average them out from the past, some are higher in the early years because we know what's coming in, but after like in 26, 27, 28, it's very difficult to do. So we base it off of a percentage point of increase. What are we doing? Is it 10 or 20?
We increased the revenue by 10% and the expenses by 5%.
So this is something we just turn in every year to the Paris report. So.
Right, need a motion for that one. Mike, second. Jan, discussion. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Carried. Our attorney's update. Item number 8, Tony, what is going on in the world?
What's going on is going to be dealt with in the world of resolutions, in projects, in project agreements, and more projects. Well, I want to discuss the executive sessions with the JBS statements.
Okay.
Okay, so let's take each item, off the bat. There are Sunny's solar projects. It's the Sunny's Watkins Road. Any discussion on that?
Well, first thing we need to do is do an authorizing resolution on that one. We haven't done it. Watkins Road is a project located in the town of Schuyler and the town of Herkimer. Also in the, right, this is the one with the 3 school
Three school
districts, CVA, Herkimer, and Frankfurt Schuyler. So we need to pass that through in order to move ahead with the project.
Yes, in your packet. Comments, questions, before we want to make motion, Mike? Yep, please, thanks. Mike, second by Tim. Discussion. In favor, aye. Any opposed, nay? Carried. The ST60 extension.
Jimmy, what I had done on that is there's one omnibus resolution extending the SD60s for not only Sunny's Watkins, but Flat Hills, and Grassy Knoll. And consistent with the direction I was given from the last meeting, we are to receive an additional 25% by the end, you can see the end of Thursday on the Flat Hills project, and no ST60s will be issued on any of those projects until we close. The goal right now is to close Watkins Road, Grassy Knoll, and Hills by this Friday. Rest of the round. And the Lighthouse project is going to be a delay on because there's some litigation that they're wrapping up with us next month. But as I explained to council and John, I talked about, we're going to approve the SD60s, but nobody gets anything until we have cash in hand. Logic research.
So the thing with these 4 is it's under the same, why we believe some of it has taken so long. It started out as a Sunny's project and moved over to Cordelia Power. There was a lot of, same lawyer though stated it all, but there was a lot of transition in the management of those funds. We gave them an extension till October 31st and said we will not continue on. And if what happens if we didn't close by the end of this month, they would have to start over with the process. And that's quite costly to them. So we were assured that we would have through ACH today, the 3 final payments for the 3 projects, and then Flat Hill would be 25% of that coming in, and then the remaining. So we should be seeing all of that today, and we will let the attorney know that. But this is all standard. They might even come back. Some of these solar projects due to supply chain and things might take a little longer than a year, but they'll let us know ahead of time if we need to extend. But these are all approved projects, all property leases in place. Everything should be a go. I think their attorney took the longest time to get it over to Tony, and that was the problem. So, but I will let them.
You want to call for these ones?
They're in a single resolution for the board's consideration, and it's only a 1-year extension.
By the attorney. Need a motion to, for these extensions. And second by John. Discussion. All in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? Carried. Next item, small projects pilot, and review John.
Well, Tony and myself worked over our thoughts on what we can do to help out some of the small projects. They would be less than $2.5 million. There'd be no real property tax abatement, so that wouldn't change the property tax for anybody. The only thing it could do is actually, after the assessor goes in and looks at the improvements, is raise their property tax. But we would give them an opportunity for mortgage recording tax, which would be 1%, and also sales tax abatement. A lot of times when you look at these smaller projects, sales tax on them can be up 80, 100,000. So it definitely will benefit them. So we put this UTEP together. We're gonna have to have a public hearing on it. So we're looking to pass this through to the next step of, yeah, but I'm looking for something that you here. Okay, so also please go to page 30, where the fee schedule is set up. So our agency fee would be 0.5%, and Tony would negotiate with the individual companies, correct, Tony?
It's correct. It would be a base of 3,000, but we use Aldrich as an example. I'd like to keep it down, but in some of these projects, we need some less sophisticated attorneys representing some people. So the work at our end is not necessarily less. It's more, but it'll be significantly less than.
Remind me again, I thought it was where the small project would apply for the mortgage tax relief, but then they wouldn't apply for the pilot. I thought I remember that.
They would apply for sales tax abatement too, but not for property.
Not for mortgage, just sales tax
Sales and mortgage,
Sales and mortgage.
not property.
and no pilot.
Well, the pilot, no, we wouldn't have to put a
Right.
pilot in place. Kind of, it's still really a pilot, but it's a little different. We're just adopting the fact that for the small projects, we're not going to change their property tax. We are going to give them the sales tax abatement, which we can do, and the mortgage recording tax. We're lowering our fee to 0.5 point because we're not going to have to deal with the pilots for the next 10 years and do that administrative work and stay on top of that. They would still pay their normal tax of jurisdictions. It doesn't have to come to us.
Okay, I interpreted that this was zero.
No.
Maybe it's just because we vetted.
Well, it's part of our UTEP anyways, yes, I could see how that is, we're just modifying the basic UTEP itself to include small projects.
Look at page 26, small projects are not eligible for tax abatement. Change to use that.
Yeah, at the bottom of 26, small projects.
They just changed.
No. I don't think, well, did they?
Yes. If she could-
Yes,
Yes.
yesterday yes,
You got the trick jacket.
Wait, when did we get this? This yesterday? from
Yes.
someone? Okay,
Yeah,
so we got
yesterday
this
afternoon.
yesterday, so on page 26 out of the packet, today's packet.
Oh, I
Small
thought we,
projects.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
So those are the two.
26.
Yeah.
So my,
Yeah.
yeah, it's highlighted in yellow.
okay, it's just. Okay, so the small projects part is embedded in our UTEP policy,
That
which
is
is why it looks like the small projects are eligible for pilot. Because it's kind of continues.
Unless when you look at the newest thing, that'll be listed on our website under policies, it'll be highlighted, small projects are not eligible for the property tax.
I did see that and then.
Yep.
All right.
The same way our new fee is, will be in there, and then we'll schedule a public hearing. Whenever we can, as soon as possible, because we can do it right there.
Okay, no tax break. You know, motion that we leave them. Mike, second, Tim, thank you, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed, nay? Carried. The fee schedule that Tony just, that brought to our attention was on page 30. Any questions or problems with that?
Just talks about 0.5%.
What motivates me?
Need a motion to accept that. My good, so let's all be turkey here. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, John. Any discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed, nay? Carried. We have to set a public hearing. I need a motion to set the public hearing. Mike, second by Tim. Discussion. All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed, nay? Great. The EPR water is our next, we just finished project three on pages 31 to 43. Dan, you wanna?
So we already did have the public hearing on this. We had all the arrangements in place. They came back with a different attorney's firm. Tony's been dealing with them. They tried to make a couple changes. Tony allowed, there's one change.
One change.
But everything else remained the same, our fees, everything else. And from that, we want to induce and, put the.
Well, we've already induced the project.
We have, yeah.
I just want to have you, ratify the amended project agreement. Right, and got on there and talked to the council week before last. They probably do not want to close in this calendar year for tax reasons. I think we privilege that to the town. But we're looking at next year, so we can start construction this spring.
And it's a $40 million project up at Old Chain of Forest with the funds for stuff. So they're just looking to tail set and the tax agenda, dues or effects like that's going to
On page 35.
Yeah, but I'm not understanding.
They're arguing, the change is very subtle.
Yeah.
Is if there's a change in our tax policy, that we go back, claw back their benefits. I think it was a subtle, not anything we've ever done anyway, so I had no objection.
But they understand if they spend any money prior to us closing.
Yes, which is my impetus for no SD60s until we close,
Okay, good.
with a little more carrot than the bush, so to speak.
So basically, we're going by our same UTEP policy with somebody.
Yeah.
Which is,
Any questions for Tony or anything else? Can you a motion for that? Mike, second. Thanks, Dan. Discussion. In favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Carried. Second page. We go to what, you could come up and say, I'm good, thank you. All right, so JBF, right, that's executive session. Let's go to project, due diligence, item number 9, page 44.
So you'll see in here a utility service grouping bill. Like we help out in many communities, this is for the village of Ilion to evaluate their power for prospective projects that could have to do with the Remington Lumber's facility. So like we do help with other communities and whether housing studies or BOAs or whatever, this is something that we need to do to help attract opportunity there. So this will be, there'll be other bills coming in for these individuals. But I'll bring them in on a case by case basis. This one is it's a 56.95. So that's a big bill.
Questions?
you said for the individuals, you mean this for the-
For the village of Ilion to help market the Remington's facility.
you said there'll be more?
There will be more because there's some other, working with the independent system operators, working in the path to Remington with easements and understanding substation upgrades.
How much of dollar amount? If there's more. You want me to- That's fine.
Yeah.
I think it's just nice to know approximately how much.
I don't have that yet because the full scope is not done yet. So this is to get us to the scope.
You wanna move it?
I think this we should move, but we can have further discussion, which I plan on.
Motion, please. Yeah. Fine, thank you. Discussion. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Carried. Item 10, chips.
So we were successful in getting a grant from the EPA through the revolving loan fund at Mohawk Valley. Mohawk Valley Edge opted to put in there that we would have to pay an in-kind amount of $20,000, which is about 10%. Right now, we're working on using in-kind of our hours, some other hours from other consultants that they agreed to do for pro bono, and we're trying to figure it out to get it as low as possible. I'm sorry, what? Oh, okay. Culture control. So what I'm looking for is to not to exceed $15,000 in the removal of chips. So we're looking for support from the board to contribute to the demolition and removal of the chips gas station.
So if they is there a lot of waste underneath that's really digging up and?
No, the only thing that's gonna have to really be dug up, Mike, because of all the studies we did on it, are the tanks. And that's another grant that the county received from the controller's office to come in after we remove the structure to remove the tanks. And then at that point, we'll turn it over. I'm hoping that it'll be a lot less than 15, but I don't want to take a chance.
Remind me how much the EPA grant was?
$100,000.
Do you have estimates for all of that?
We just had our bidders conference. Yeah, it'll be less than that, so. But, you know, the bidders were there on, what day did he get the award? Tuesday. They were there Tuesday looking at the site. There's not it's pretty good. They have to take it down hot, but it's still not a big structure. It should be.
Between the grant and us.
I think us would be a lot less than 15 too.
How much is the town contributing since they're doing the property?
Nothing at this time.
Any other comments, questions? All right, need motion to, Mike, second, John, discussion. Favor aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Item number 11, the Schuler Business Park.
Schuler, Verdi Associates. Do you want to go into that? So Verdi Associates is the same people that we were dealing with when they took over the option on the property, the back 60 acres. For the one developer that has gone into some financial issues now and will not be developing anywhere else in New York State. Since we kept all of our eggs in that basket, but did show it to a few other ones, they asked for an extension in order to try to market it to some of the other potentials that they have in place. They have done some good due diligence. They have put a lot of things together. This is also a property that we're featuring with NYSERDA. They're an excellent builder. I think we give them that opportunity. That would be my opinion. I just can't remember. How long did they ask for a year extension?
No.
Yeah.
Happy year.
A year. I think it's well worth it. We bring in somebody else, that won't be an issue, but they're actively marketing it and they have great connections to help us continue with that site.
What's your flavor, folks? About 60 acres. Plus or minus.
So what are your other options? Obviously, the developer owns it, so you.
Well, he doesn't own, he has an option. That's what we've signed with them because the previous one that we brought to the table, but they can't come here. You know, they can't do any additional development. They had a development going in Rochester that they stopped.
You trust these fellows that.
Oh, yeah, Hubert.
All in favor? It's still a motion. Tim, second, Mike, discussion. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Great. Start development.
Yes, it is total. So we have an option, or we have an offer on the 4.1 acres that remains in the front of the park in the old drive-in. 15,000 per acre. Good company. I've met with them several times, smaller firm, but they have great growth opportunity. Tony's reviewed their contract and we'd like to move ahead and get going on their due diligence and get this offer out to the state. Takes 90 days from the state to approve it. But that's a great deal for the front of the park. They understand what we do there, how clean we keep it, how neat. They're right on board with that. I think it's an excellent fit for our park.
What do we sold the type of
industry?
Yeah,
I
they're,
know you can move, but.
well, no, they haven't said we can't say anything. They're in the roofing industry and construction industry. And they're growing leaps and bounds. You know, they need additional from where they have 2 locations now, so they want to combine. And they also want to build enough space to support some of their subcontractors too.
This is on the corner then, right?
Yeah, you go
Fire,
past
yeah.
Calucci on the left, it's sitting on.
That corner,
Yep.
yeah.
What would they put in there, Joe?
A building, a good sized building,
Warehouse type?
warehouse, office. You know, kind of like Aldridge and Calucci, none of them really had conference room or an office or a nice break room, and that's what they want to do for their employees too, so. They'll keep it well maintained.
So if this is another location, are they adding jobs there? Are they?
They constantly add new contractors to them, but they will be removing the other 2 locations. One of them, they'll clean up and rent out as there's already apartments there. They want to expand on that and clean that up. And the other office, they kind of share, so it's not a big, I don't even think they own it.
Are they in Herkimer County or?
Yeah, Herkimer now, and also a small office.
Well, they're removing those offices. It's okay if they still stay within Herkimer County. I thought there was something, and that's okay, we can decide, but it's not a big deal if they have this other areas.
You talking about, coaching?
Yeah, but that's a different, right?
We can talk about the fact that they're constrained, and we can't expand without them.
I recall.
The motion for, the standard, agreement that we have. So, Mike, second, Jen, discussion, all in favor, aye. Any opposed, nay. Carried. Also, Schuyler is the 4th corner of business.
So I've been approached by Scanel to market that property. They have showed it to some people. We've had other interest in that property, but we would need to sign like a 1-year agreement with them. I also talked with Tyler Cumbersome from Standard Real Estate down in Albany, who helped us bring in Scanel and Amazon at our other park in Frankfurt. And it might not be a bad idea to let Scanel get it out there. They put together a nice marketing piece. They have a lot of contacts out there. It's really no cost to us. There's no commission or any of that. They base their deliverables on the people that they're serving. So they're more like a site selector for companies that hire them to go find the sites. Jack Kelly, good man, yes, same name as the other Jack Kelly. And I think it would be a good idea maybe to have another set of eyes look at it for a year. We do have some opportunity. Jimmy and myself talked to somebody the other night about it. Mark was in on that conversation with us. There's a couple other, but I don't think that would jeopardize anything that we're looking to do there, and I would have more in depth. I more or less wanted to get your all opinion on something.
That would be exclusive for them, in other words.
We could work that out, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. I mean, that's the way he'll probably start with me,
Sure, that's what they want.
you know, but then, he's never opposed to, you know, if we brought in one company and there was still room, that attracts other businesses too, you know, once you have a shovel in for somebody over there. Then again, he works with a lot of bigger companies that might take the whole thing in one shot too. And put in like a 400,000 or 500,000 square foot facility, and that would fit there just fine too.
You get the sense from him that he does have somebody interested?
I get the sense from every developer we're talking to that there's development opportunities in this state beyond what we. It's just because of Micron and everything else, and all of them realize too, they don't get a shovel in the ground soon. All the talent that needs to build these are gonna be in Syracuse building that large. So, you know.
Question. All right, let's, and you bring that, I mean, it's. Do you have one written?
No, I'm gonna get it. Maybe they shouldn't have said action. I'll get all the data and then I'll email it all to you all. And but please comment and let me know your thoughts. And if anybody wants to meet with Jack, I can set that up too. I would really like that. He's a good man and it'd be good to hear his perspective too on what he sees.
Will Tony look at that and bring that?
He will, of course.
Okay, so we'll, that's FYI, we're gonna put that on the. Front burner, so we said. All right, let's go to the Masonic project, item 13.
So as always, I'm asking for more money. We did get through the asbestos survey. We have, documentation or asbestos abatement. That went really good. We have patched up the roof. Now I want to go in and, clean out everything, take down the, tanning walls. Get everything out of there, get down to the walls, remove any damaged things. And, damage from water or whatever, because we found how the water was getting in, that's all stopped. We, and work on a water line and a new, drainage for the roof. And we're probably looking towards about 100,000 additional. What do we have left on that? You recall? 50 left.
It was 50 until it's in the. Have these contracts. I think 30.
So I know removal of everything and doing what we want to button up will be less than 100,000, but to be safe, I'd like to bring over 100,000 to that as well.
31,000
31,000.
remaining.
Okay, so that would put us over, but we wouldn't use all of that for the. Right now, our expense have just been general maintenance and a storage container we have in back where we can put the bowling alleys that remained, some of the nicer woodwork that was just setting there, we put that in there. Stuff that we didn't want to damage in any of the asbestos removal or any of the cleanup. And as they do clean up and take down, it'll be an insured company. They'll put in there whatever we want to salvage, so we can start the building. But I don't know, I can't remember who went in there or not yet, but when you walk in, there's like a counter that was built for the tanning salon. It's like a reception area that'll come out. A lot of individual rooms that block the other rooms, they'll all come out and clean up. There's a million bulbs in there, a ton of tanning beds. There's a stand-up bed in a room or stand-up tanning thing in a room. They had to build it in the room. There's no other way they could have got that in. So we'd like to get that moving.
So what's the number?
100,000 more.
So remind me, we approved a drawdown account up to, was it 75 or 100,000?
Was it 100? I think it was.
It was 170,000.
So we approved a drawdown account up to 175,000 a few months ago. I
Yeah.
recall. Now you're asking to increase that drawdown account up to 200.
Yeah.
So I guess my question is, what's the end game on us funding it? Because it seems like we're funding it piecemeal as it.
Well,
it
because
goes
as we go
along.
in steps, yeah, we don't
No,
have a
understood.
full.
But I guess, it's, I think it's nice for the board to see how much we're truly going to look to approve.
I don't know if we'll have that number yet until we have that all cleaned out, but we have applied for several grants that we're pretty confident that we'll get back in. Some of that money we can replace with that. Some of the LDC money will be replaced with other projects that we're working on. So I can see that coming in, but right now to get that building stabilized to, well, it's pretty stable right now, but to get it to the point where we can start working on after we receive like a couple of these other grant opportunities, we need to get to this.
No, understood. I just, the extra 100,000 that you're asking for, was that a surprise?
No, I think it was,
So-
I thought I'd get something else sooner, but we didn't. And then we also had additional costs like for the DRI. We had to do a decarbonization study and something that cost us additional money there. We've had to dig up some piping for the drainage out of the back. We had to do some other removal in the parking lot, so it does add up on.
So there's been some cost overruns
Yeah, but it's all,
Compiled
it's,
with.
it's not like it's a brand new build, so the older builds, there's always hidden things in there. It's never as easy. But we'll get a definite quote on the removal. We have some preliminary right now, and that's why it's only asking for about 100. But I see it being even less than that. But we have to, whatever we get in there, we have to remove as well, so that's why I'm worried about that cost. You know, we had to do the tree removal because we weren't counting on that, and by the tree split in half. You know, we've invested a lot in the roof and some of the other maintenance on these buildings, so. It's things that are gonna happen so we can start generating too. We'll generate revenue from the kitchen on the first floor, on the basement. We're hopefully, we're looking at two options for the, shared office space, either leasing that out to one company to run for us. You know, then that'll be some other opportunity, but that's the cost of when you're rehabbing these older buildings.
No, I understand that. What I mean is, I think we should understand what that cost is. I don't think we had any, indication anyway, when we approved the first 175,000, that we would be stacking on an additional 100,000 onto that. So I think it's just I think it's prudent to know what the end game is as far as the clean out budget. You must have an idea of.
Probably $100,000 more, but what I'm looking at too is we're looking at a structure now that when we first got the quotes on everything, before we had to go to decarbonization, we were about 6.6 million. Now we're up into the 9 million. For the things that we have to do, because we can't have gas in there because of the grants that we're receiving on the state side. So that changes the whole footprint of things, but that also ups us for additional funding too.
So if I understand what you're saying, total project cost for the building rehab is now to be 9.
Yeah, pretty close to 9 million. It's, yeah, before.
No,
we
I know,
started one, you know,
the last I saw on the total project cost was the LDC application. For the application that went, to the IDA from the LDC, where it outlined 6
Oh, yeah.
million. So I think I just don't think we understand the project in its entirety. I think we're learning about it piecemeal.
I think so are we, as we get into what we need to do next to continue on with the project. I think it's a lot different with the brownfield and green construction, and we're gonna see.
You couldn't disagree with you, John. Just through experience, I mean, we built a jail. You know, and you find that there's projects, there's things that come up on a new construction, whether it's old or new. There's always whether you build a doghouse, you build a doghouse and find it. Instead of $500, it costs you $1,000. So that's gonna happen, but I think that once it's cleaned out, like you're proposing, the heavy stuff is, not the heavy stuff, but the cosmetic stuff is done. After that, it's bricks and mortar and the infrastructure, the water lines, the electric, all that, the hard stuff that you do. And then
I think you're seeing that now at the county with the treasurer's office. Right? I mean, every other day, now we need this one, now we need this one, now we need this. It happens with these projects.
I do get where there's cost overruns, there are unexpected items, and that's what contingencies are for as well, but I don't think we've ever truly seen a true project outline of the incentive. As far as clean out budget, renovation budget, just even the basics, I don't think we've seen.
I think you've seen the $6 million budget at first. I think you have seen. And you just referenced that. So
It was in the operating.
that's the budget. That's what we had to start with, from our architect going in there, and an engineering firm going in there and taking a look at everything. The numbers that we received from Hubert Brewer went in and reviewed the project.
Which
Gave
is,
us those-
it's changed from about 6 to about 9.
Yeah,
So
which the
obviously those
new
items
architect that
changed.
came in, yeah, because we had to go after once again, the decarbonization. We can make sure we send that over.
Yeah.
If they want to do it.
All I'm saying is when there's updates, I think it's just it's a big project. It's a big project. I think it's prudent for us to be able to see those details. Especially, and I know now that it's 100,000, so it's a small piece of the overall pie. But I just think we need a comprehensive something on the project.
Just send them that.
Is the building buttoned up pretty good for the winter as far as the rust and?
That's what we just finished up, is buttoning up the roof. You don't have any electricity to it. The gas has been shut off, so we wouldn't do that. The water shut off. What? Which pad one? In the back too. So we, in the summertime, we would open the, well, even still now, we have windows open to air it out. But they're screened, so nobody's flying in. Then the downstairs, we opened up the two back doors, so especially when they were doing the asbestos abatement. They had to get that air and everything out there. And then the front door, we can get in through a padlock and out, but that's very secure too.
So we're in a better place, obviously.
Oh, a million times better, and we've made it so no one can get in through the fire escape, and we blocked in the basement where they could kick in windows before. Now they're all screened on the inside, nobody can kick them in. We've had Howard there doing a lot of that maintenance stuff to preserve and protect that building. The two things that we found mostly was in the rain, we sent the water from the roof, those roof drains out the side window. But then as we cleaned out the basement for the asbestos, we realized that it was still coming up. So we went in the back and dug up the back and found that, believe it or not, was collapsed. That roof drain, it was working, but not as good when they were messing around with the fuel tank that they filled in back there. So there was a fuel tank that the DEC left in place. It was broken open and then loaded with like this sandy type product. And when they did that, that affected the roof drain. So we have to clean that up too. So, but then it should be very stable for what.
This additional money should get us to the point where we're gonna be getting grants or.
We should have grants anytime now too. So that's not, and we haven't even applied for quite a few different things yet. We're doing it in stages to see where we're at, just to follow a better process with it. Yeah. It is a long process, and it's a brownfield, it makes it, and, I can't guarantee that when we take down a wall, one of those phony walls, that we're not gonna find something. However, we did structural and we checked everywhere, and the structural seems very good. But we don't know what it's gonna be like when the organ comes out of that little balcony up there. Or in that back corner where it was the worst. Once we get all the carpet up and look in there, we'll be able to see. The nice thing about the roof is there's some real big metal I-beams up there. So whatever he's been changing is easy because it's just replacing some boards, it's not so it's gonna cave in. However, in the final product, we'll want a brand new roof up there too, so. But right now, we're doing what we can to fund it. But it hasn't been a slam dunk, which I wasn't thinking it would be. I was truly hoping that we would, because it wasn't that long ago that it was a tanning salon, so you would think, hey, it's pretty good, but there's some issues.
Hopefully.
Oh, it'll be a catalyst for all of them. Yeah, our general one, yeah. We'll be fine with that too, especially after today. Oh, I can't remember off the top of my head, I'm sorry. Too many schools too. I'll get that to you.
No. So there's 56,000 in the center, right? In that budget here. You're asking for another 34,
No,
or
there's
another
one
100.
And now with the pay downs of the other stuff, so it's always a lot of, when you get this person to come in and look at it, they have. The tank, the backyard, the HRP, but that was pretty much grants. But a lot of the other things that we've had to do has cost us. But we do anticipate getting a lot of that back through what we do with the LDC projects.
I mean, it's part of doing business. Which means it gets thrown.
I just, I think there's unanimous support for it. I just think we need a little more information. And when I say information, we need to sort of understand, to Mike's point, really how much are we looking at as far as getting it to a point where grants will kick in, understanding that they are uncertain. The timing of them is uncertain, and even the cost can be, but having the total overall budget in front of us, the project sources and uses and, you know, all of that info, even just to see where we've gone from 6 million to 9 million. Just.
Do we get an estimate? Hire an estimator, I mean, what would it cost to get?
I would rather work it with the architect to have him fight the back, you know, with the individual. This is a broad quote that came in for what was required to get the structure the way we need it, elevator, the whole 9 yards. When it comes time to bid, of course, depending upon the time of year you go out to bid, where the contractors are, the price could come in a lot less too. Or we can look at a lot of different things. We needed to get this number in for the grant opportunities, and that's where we start. So to do something like that right now, I don't see a need for that as the project moves forward. The architect that we went with was TRW out of Albany area. They're a historic architectural firm, so they understand the aspects of where to find that money, what you need to do to make it work. Because in some cases, when you look at the HVAC or some of these other things, it's gonna have to be not jerry rig, but it's gonna have to blend and for historic purposes, make it work.
So when will we be out?
In the year. That way, it's.
As we learned with the treasurer's building, a good architect will limit the amount of overruns. Based, even on a historic building, they'll know what to look for. And bad architect will really destroy a budget. I mean, that's kind of what happened with Britain. So I know you know a lot of architects, but maybe just check with them and make sure to see their resumes.
Oh, of course, we did already for these guys.
Good.
You know, to go forward with another 100,000. So it's a little drawdown. Like, that discussion.
I just got one more question for John. Because of state funding, you can't put gas in that building?
We can't add gas to that bill. There's gas already there. We'll utilize it for stoves, for cooking in the basement area, but we can't use it for heat or, well, we can't use it.
So you're forced to go electric. So
Forced to go electric.
what's the difference in the cost? I mean, the state's additional money.
$1 million,
Much?
$1 million.
How much are we getting from the state?
Well, it depends on which program, but we're hoping to get almost all of it covered by the state and the feds.
So you can't use it just on customers.
No, we have to be decarbonized.
Would you put it in a heat pump?
Yeah, but that's run by electric.
Right, but is it like would be a lot of air source heat pumps or a dual well, ground source heat pump?
I can't.
Offers enough room to.
No,
Well, they go down too, with the vertical. Like, the situation. The hell of a mandate, isn't it?
it is, and it wasn't mandated last year. And that's what my big gripe was. And the state hired a consultant to work with you, but they wouldn't give you the answer, so you have to work with your architect to really make it work, because they say they hire this person to help, and when you ask them to explain it, now there's decarbonization credits you get when you do these things. As an IDA, we can't use those credits, but I said, can I sell those credits? What's it been, 8 months now? No one can answer me. Well, I'm hoping so, because I mean, if we do it, we want those credits. We can sell historic tax credits, we can sell brownfield cleanup credits.
So, but they can't come back now, say whatever gas we have in there, you gotta take that out.
They can say you can't use it for heating. Definitely. You know, water heaters, anything.
Reason being, they think it's cleaner to go electric or whatever.
Their mandate is to make everything electric by a certain time frame. The thing that they haven't done is really mandate for the stove side of it, yeah. So we didn't have to decarbonize the basement.
It's just. Sounds ridiculous to me.
John, you're not even gonna be able to clear up what it lacked without doing a decarb study, Richard. It's. Being a developer in this marketplace is a challenge.
You can see that.
All right, motion was made, discussion. All in favor aye. Opposed nay. Carried. The EPA coalition grant.
So, working with the EPA and, the county approved it the other night. We would like to apply for a coalition grant with the Hertford County IDA and Lewis County. Lewis County, very small county, they won't have a real good opportunity to ever win one of those grants. They just don't have the projects. After they do become part of this coalition, that would make it more available for their opportunity. At this round, what we could apply for the EPA really didn't make sense to us unless we worked on this coalition grant. And we have the opportunity to win $1.2 million that we would administer for the county, the IDA, and Lewis County. I wouldn't go up there and pick projects with them and all of that. They'll pick their projects, they'll work with the consultant, they'll just submit and we'll monitor everything like we do. No cost to the IDA. Discussion?
That contract that would be written up
Yeah.
for that.
Yep, after the fact, until we get it, we don't need to do an MOU or anything as well for that. EPA is pretty easy when you submit, it's when you actually get the grant, it's a paperwork. The name is,
So we charge we get the administration fee on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And he does.
Yeah. Which could vary in the amount too. And that'll cover costs for travel, while having public, engagement meetings and things like that, like we do with our other meetings.
Questions? Motion, please. Mike, John, discussion. All in favor aye. Opposed nay. Carried. Okay, just going to take a break here for a second. I'll comments by elected officials. Christian. Go ahead, Becky.
I'm all set. Thank you.
I did hear a motion.
Well, this is a hole in the agenda, just give some updates from TCE, the sheriff said, we just added a staff member, speaking of clean energy. Oneida County holds a clean energy hub for Central New York, and they will review possible position of workforce development coordinator. And that person was hired, she started a couple weeks ago, and she'll be responsible for developing employment opportunities where we can. What that exactly means is kind of yet to be decided, because I heard it's a moving target, as we see here. There's also a moving target there, but if you think of any, employment opportunities related to green energy, let me know, and I can, help develop some resources in that. Other thing that we're working on right now, we have very successful Veggie Vision mobile food farmers market this summer. We originally had a winter vendor with a winter program, which was you could order your food online from a local farm and deliver to several drop-off points. That person bailed on us, so we are working on a substitute program, which would be a winter farmers market. Right now, we're talking to the park about their Italy and the mall there. There's an empty space in there, so we might do a more.
Are you trying to sell that?
We kind of rent it.
Cool. That would be a good place. That's pretty wide open.
Yeah.
Does the Bolts home have any space?
I don't think so. Well, there's the lumber, there's would be another possible option. He really wants us to be there. That's it. And that's our second biggest thing.
But he would charge.
I don't know. We had the one this summer and we want the financial arrangement.
Well, no, in the back you got good parking back there. Yeah,
Yeah,
behind it,
huge.
there's a ton of parking. Yeah.
He's trying to, I know he's trying to drive business into his thing, so we're helping.
The only thing I remember about the Bolts home is they have a big storage refrigerator and things that they used to let the food bank utilize.
Mark, you had something?
Yes, Garrett, the clean energy coordinator,
Yes.
is that working with or differently than the one that works for NVDB? Because they have someone that does clean energy and NYSERDA work.
Right. And so we're working with CC United with the Clean Energy Hub for the Mohawk Valley. I think the I'm not sure whether that position still exists at DED. I think that transferred back to Oneida and
Oh, okay,
so I think they kind of ping pong.
gotcha. So it's probably the same thing.
The same position, but different person.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Okay, anything else here? Well, before Johnny gives out, just give a real quick, I've been talking to John and some of you legislators now. The county we've chosen to do, we're talking here. There's a documentary program called Viewpoint, Dennis Quaid on PBS. We were chosen, the county invested some money into that, and we're going to have like a 5 to 8 minute section or segment on that program. That'll be filmed very soon, and actually next week, 6 and 7. We're going to be filming that. Me, myself, Renee Shello Chavat, and from Diamond Mines, and also Justin Hummel and Nick Lane. And just 1 minute concise, synopsis of what Burton LaPound is about. And they do all these different segments in like what it's food, culture, technology, business, agriculture. There's all these different segments. And if you go on, if you do look, Google it, it's Viewpoint and Dennis Quaid. I'll send you all of them. And there's one segment there of Williamsburg, Virginia. And look at that one. That's probably something like what we're looking for. And it's an all upbeat, what we're about, what we do with for economic development, what we're doing, how we want to portray ourselves. So we had a meeting yesterday. So I'm talking to the people we need to talk to about what kind of image we want to portray, certainly an agricultural based community, tourism based, with a lot of business development coming in, small community that's, rural, but yet has this growth happening. So we'll talk and get some key words and phrases that we need to put out there. And again, it's 1 minute that we're pretty much, you have to put it in. But if you look at these segments, they're well done, they're edited, and they get the most out of that 5 to 8 minutes. And you think it's not a lot of time, but you can get a lot of information in 5 minutes. So it's done professionally. So working with a producer. So that's it. If you have any ideas or things that we should mention, I'm going to meet with John and the staff here and get some.
Let's air it on TV.
It'll probably air anywhere between February and March or April of next year. It'll be made, produced next week.
Just on streaming or?
And it's a 6 million viewer following that they have.
So is
So
it on streaming or regular TV? You have to stream on Fox Nation and you get it.
it is streamed on other channels. I don't want to say channel, I'm not up on that, but it is. They give us a list: CNN, MSNBC, Fox.
But they all have streaming.
streaming.
So if we don't have that, let's see it.
It'll be, I'm telling you, it'll be streamed, plus it'll be on PBS, the normal Viewpoint. And we'll put a big spread out about that. Yeah, I mean, it's perfect PBS weather, winter, everybody's inside watching TV. It's a great chance to, and it's nation, obviously, and then we own the product too. We'll own that 5 minute segment and be able to use it when we want. And then we're gonna do 30-second commercials also. I don't know, we'll pull 30-second commercials. And we can use that for whatever. The idea wants to use it now, whoever wants to use it for promotion of the county or a certain industry, it's all ours to keep and share. So we're excited about it. That's all. All right, John, what do you have?
Sure, Chip Station, we talked a little bit. We did have the bidders conference the other day. We also had an open house there just to give people an opportunity, believe it or not. 4 people did show up, but they were all former relatives of the Chips family. So it was, 2 of them haven't talked in decades, so it was a little awkward for some of us. But the gentleman who does the big billboard there has agreed to put up additional lighting at no cost, so that's pretty neat. Bill's School, we're working through the 19B process with the village. for taking over that property, as well as we've, got our completed, or, well, the draft, but it should be completed soon through our TA grant with the EPA, the reuse. And we'll get that out to everybody once we get it for the Bill's school. The Remington Arms one was completed too. We should send that out to them. So, don't forget Friday morning, we are having a USDA meeting with the state director, Brian Murray. It would be great if you could all attend. Right now, believe it or not, we have about 32 people signed up, so we're pretty excited about that. Right here. Yes, it is. Yeah, he goes by Don, really good guy, but he's the state director. It's good to get in with him and let him know what we're doing. Myself and Garrett took him on a tour last time. Very informative, good to have in our back pocket. Our December board meeting is Thursday, December 19th. I know next month's November, but I just wanted everyone to be aware of that time frame for the December meeting. Tonight, we're hosting a Village of Herkimer BOA grant or BOA project meeting here in the chamber. Our BOA people will be there. That's one where we helped the village win a $200,000 grant. The IDA supporting about 20,000 of that as well to help that downtown 32 acres become redeveloped as well. Our countywide housing assessment's moving along nicely. We have over 700 people that filled out the survey. That's huge. They weren't expecting that size of a number, so it's a really great opportunity for us there. The last thing I want to talk about before we go in executive session is I know a few of you, Ann and Tim and Corey, have brought up about some planning on how we can move ahead best. I think after doing some more conversations and talking with people, I think maybe we start out with a SWOT analysis, which is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Yeah. Holy cow. Wow. So what I'd like to do, starting in January, I will email out a sheet outlining, what we're looking for each board member. If you could just reply with what you think is our strengths for the first month, we'll go over that. We'll do, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and that'll get us on our way for some advanced planning.
Anything else, a general good of the organization? Can I ask about?
Sure. No, that's okay. So right now, the mayor of Ilion, a couple weeks ago, said he was driving by there and saw building B or 2 or whatever you want to call it, looked like it was going to collapse. So he contacted a removal firm, and they went in there and started tearing down the second part of the dual fold structure. I'm not sure what's going to happen there as far as any of our grant opportunities or how he's going to get money to really clean that up. We do have a restore grant for that structure, which included the third building, or it's all one building, but section 3. And now there's no section 2 as well. The individual developer still has an interest in it. We had a meeting, we were denied the $17.3 million EPA grant we applied for a couple weeks ago. We had a meeting on what we need to do and we can resubmit. We're working on that right now. The best score you could get, I think, was a 155, and we scored a 114, but to kind of pass, you needed to be at a 135. So we did pretty good. So I think we can hit that number. They want more data with less words. I don't know how we're going to do that yet. They only allow you 20 pages, and we turned in 20 pages. And they like everything on there, but they need more. So we're trying to figure out the best way to do that. There's a lot of money in that fund, and we'll get that out this week. I'm not sure the brick is laying on the ground. All the rubble's there. I'm not sure how it's going to get removed. I really can't answer that question.
I remember at the Ilion meeting, you mentioned something about the historic.
All gone. B and C, 2 and 3 were the historic part of those buildings. They're gone. That's an opportunity. And lost a lot of money.
Did we get historic grants on that? And now they're just.
No, historic tax credits. So we had Parks Recreation, Historic Preservation come in. It was a great day, freezing cold, and he brought like 7 new members with him. We went through the whole thing. It was very cool. And they could they applied and it was in the historic, yeah, we helped get that through. I think, what did we spend, 10, 15 grand a year? Through the historic tax credit, so.
Okay, we need a motion to go into executive session. Ben, John, thank you. All in favor? Opposed, no.
Purpose negotiations or litigation.
Negotiations, yeah.
Stay.
Yeah, no.
Thank you,
Don't
Gary.
think you gotta remove, spur back.
Thank you for calling in.